I'm a lot of different things. I'm a father. I'm a husband. I'm a school teacher. Thank you. I'm a hippie, not hipster. A knockoff Jack Black. But I identify as a teacher. My very first day of teaching was one of the worst days of my life. This was a message that a student left for me. Mr. Hall is a fat, I can't say it. It starts with a B. I took a picture and I sent it to my wife, and she responded with this confusing response, lol. And I said, lol, and she said, laugh out loud. And I don't know what's so funny about that or this, but I had to learn how to thicken up a little bit with my skin. I said that so poorly. The syntax was awful. I had to stop caring what kids said about me. So after telling the same jokes and stories for about 4 or 5 years to counter those insults from teenagers, I thought I had enough material to be a stand-up comedian. And so I signed up for an open mic, and I did not kill it that night, but I did okay. But I caught the bug. So the next day, I went to my classroom and I transformed it into a comedy club. And I started teaching stand-up comedy to my students, but I was teaching myself how to do a 5-minute set, how to pace. And so after a month or so, I had enough material, and I signed up for another open mic. But the problem is I didn't have an opener, and I floundered for 5 minutes, and I didn't get to my set. And so I had to learn another lesson, which would happen at the next open mic. It was about audience. I signed up mistakenly for an open mic for a Christian singing engagement. And I came up, and I followed a little 6-year-old and 2 twin girls singing songs about Jesus. And my jokes were about Jesus being married and the birds and the bees. So I got rid of those jokes, and I decided I'm going to start talking about or writing some material about my personal life as a school teacher. And so I wrote a one-man show, and I decided that I was going to go and perform it at the Tempe Improv. And this is how I felt right after I got off that phone call. Same kind of feeling I had right when I said, after I decided that I would do this tonight too. But I went ahead and went with it because I got 6 of my students to commit to open for me with the material that they had written. And right before the show, the kid in the back that's sitting there kind of shy, he came up to me and said, I can't do it. And I said, you don't have to, but you will regret it for the rest of your life. I didn't have time to be nervous for myself. Usually I do. Sometimes I throw up. I talk my wife's ear off, poor lady. But I didn't have time to be nervous this time because I was nervous for my kids. I didn't want them to bomb because I knew what that felt like. Okay, here's my breather. This is a slide that I got 15 seconds to take a breath and take a drink. This has nothing to do with anything, the slide. So the next day, after our show, I took my students to dinner. This is lunch, but I took them to dinner. This isn't the actual picture. And we talked about the semester, about how we learned how to laugh. We talked about that night, and we also talked about our dreams and our future. This young man that didn't want to go on stage killed it. In fact, someone from an organization came and asked him if he could speak at an engagement for their company. He's now at ASU's Barrett's College, Honors College. This is another student. She wrote me a letter at the end of the year. Sorry if I cry. Golly. But anyway, she said, Mr. Hall, teachers never ask how you're doing. And then I came across you. And I didn't tell you at first, but I eventually did. Thank you, comedy. This is new. She's from Vietnam. She didn't speak much English when she came here. She'd learned it on YouTube, so she said a lot of F words in class. She just sent me a message via Facebook that she performed at her college, a comedy showcase last night. I've had students that are homeless, students that are abandoned, students. Whew. But anyway, it doesn't matter because we learned how to laugh. Okay, that night we all bonded. We all talked about things that we were afraid of, things that had happened in our lives, but we looked for something to be funny. And that's my challenge to all of you. If you think you're funny, and we all are, I'm not saying go sign up for an open mic, but I am saying laugh. Laugh, because sometimes life can bog us down. Politics, religion, work, family even. This is my last thing. The Monty Python said it best. life's a piece of shit when you look at it. So always look for the bright things in life. Thank you.